Hello everyone, my name is Chris Kela and I'm a music producer from Zambia. Today we're just going to go through a tutorial on how you can easily understand FL Studio, some of the basics that you need to know when starting up as an FL Studio beginner. So there are actually 5 main areas that you need to know about in order for you to make a song in FL Studio, and these are the browser. It's where you find all your samples and instruments. You find them from here. And the second one being the channel rack. This is where you edit your samples or instruments. The other name is also called pattern. So that's why you are seeing pattern here. So there are many patterns that you can come up with. So in this case, a pattern is more like a loop, and probably this is where the FL Studio loop name comes from. So you're basically repeating patterns, or in this case loops, over and over again. The third area you need to know about is the playlist. So this is where you obviously are going to edit all your patterns in, and your samples, and everything basically that you need to customize in terms of editing and all that stuff. So this is the playlist area. So, okay, the fourth area is the mixer. And this is where you'll be able to view your mixer and route all your instruments and vocals. Everything comes to this part once you route everything. So this is where your mastering and mixing will be done. So the fifth and last area that you most likely also be using is the piano roll. So you find the piano roll by coming here, or if let's say you want to edit your kick in piano roll, so all you have to do is press or right click on the instrument or sample that you are trying to edit in your piano roll. So by doing that, and this comes through, and the next thing to do is to press the piano roll, and there you have it. So this is where you basically edit all your instruments or samples in your piano roll. So let me close that. So I'll close that as well. So if you want to keep any plugin or area open while touching other areas, you need to come here and press detached. In this case, by doing that, even if you press that area or this section, this thing won't go, unlike if it's not on, this will happen, so it will disappear. So if you don't want that to happen, just press detached, and you find that by coming here. So in the file section, a summary of what it's all about. You first find this, and obviously this. So basically this comes from this, and these are basically just templates on how you want your FL Studio to look like once you open it. So for example, if you don't want it to look like this, you basically just have to come here, and FL Studio will give you many different templates to use. So for example, if we choose this, so templates basically just help you have an idea of where to start from and the like. So we'll go back to our default preset, and this is, does this come with, yeah, this comes with just 4 samples and a limiter on the master. Okay, so this is where you export your WAV file. For instance, you're done with your mix or your song. This is where you send it. If you want to send it as a WAV file, you click here. If you want to send it as an MP3, these are all the options that you get. And FL Studio gives you actually an option to send your song directly to your SoundCloud account. That's if you have one. So if you want to do that, you come and press here. And then if you want to send, let's say, tracks for mixing, you definitely, this is the option that you have to use. So this will send all your instruments individual instrument sounds into a folder for if you want to send them for mixing to a mixing engineer and the like. So all these are the options that you find here in case you need them. And all these are the projects that you make. This is where you find all the projects. Go into the second section. This is where you find your shortcuts. This is, for instance, you have something like that, and then you want to cut it. This is where you press, or you simply see the shortcut. So the shortcut for that is Control X, and the shortcut for copy is Control C. And then adding, this is where you add your instruments. So from here, you can't add samples like kicks and the like. You can only add instruments. That might be a piano or a plugin and the like. So this is where you add it from. For instance, if you want to add a piano, you can just go there, left click, and that will open. So this is like an example of a plugin or instrument. So we can delete that for now. So on add, that's all you do from there. And I think the next thing that you might want to know about is setting the tempo. This is where you set the tempo of the project. So you change the tempo by simply holding and dragging down or up, and that's how you get the tempo. The other way is by right-clicking on the same section, and it will give you different tempo speeds, BPMs. So that's where you find your tempo from. So this is where you find your play button and stop button. And if you want to change from pattern to song, as you can see, it's written song. So basically what it's saying is, if you have your loops or patterns edited, so this is an example of patterns edited, and then you want to move from your channel rack sound. For instance, let's do this. If your pattern, if you want to only play your pattern, you have to press this button here, and you only get the sound coming from your pattern. But if you want to get sounds that are coming from your song, like the whole edited part, you have to press this, and it will be playing according to what you've edited in your playlist. So this is what basically determines how long your song will be. So if this is how far you reach when editing, it means your song will be 47 seconds, and this is where you check this out from. So this is the playlist, and this is where you'll be editing most of your individual patterns and sounds. So the other area that you might need to know is the metronome. So this is where you activate or deactivate your metronome from. So if it's on, and for instance, let's play that will play. If you want to switch it off, you just press that. If you want to see, if you don't know exactly what these are and you've forgotten, once you press any section in FL Studio, it will indicate what that is. So like it's showing you right now, it's saying this is a hint panel. And whenever you press, so whenever I go to this side, you always see the hint panel changing and giving you information of what it's about. So all these sections are being indicated on the hint panel. So the next area is the that you might need to know about. So this is the pattern, like we said. If you want to create a new pattern, you just come here and click empty, and you can rename that. So that will be your first pattern. And if you want to click to make another one, you just rename that to what you want. So as you can see, this is what we created first, and this is our second pattern. So you can create as many as you want. Basically, if you want to delete a pattern, you just right click on it and press delete, and that will be deleted. And by right clicking, you'll be able to see other options that you can use to edit the pattern or change it or clone it. Basically anything that you need to do based on the information you are getting here. For instance, if you want to change the color of the pattern, you can come here for renaming or coloring it by pressing accept and enter, and that will be colored. The next area is the view playlist. This is one of the things that we talked about. This is the area where you edit your patterns. Here's the shortcut in case you've forgotten. The other shortcut is by pressing F5, sorry. So F5 will bring up your playlist. And then the piano roll, shortcut for piano roll is F7. Again, if you want to see the shortcuts, just be paying attention to what the hint panel is telling you. So the next section is the view channel rack, which is this. And the shortcut for the view channel rack is F6. And for the mixer, that's F9. So these shortcuts are very important and come in handy most of the time. By the way, this is the view browser again for plugin picker section. And you close and open this by pressing here, obviously. So we're talking about this section. So other tools that you might that might be useful is maybe this. This is basically a view where you get to see all the instruments or samples that you've used in your particular or specific project that you've been creating. So all the samples that you've been using will be shown here. So now that we've gone through most of everything that we've talked about now, I'll do a quick example on how you can start making a beat in relation to everything that we've talked about. So the first thing that I normally do, or most of us do, is for instance, if this is your kick, so if that's your kick, how you plot your kick is basically by pressing left. And so though if it has got an option where you have to fill in different steps, so if you want a 4-step, you press that, and that's what you get. If you choose to pick it, that's the sound you get. But in this case, for demo sake, we'll use 4-step and then clap. So this is how you would so now that that we have that, you can choose to edit it in the FL Studio playlist section. And if we don't change this, you only be getting some from your pattern, which is this. So if you wanted to play from here, all you have to do is click this again. And this will enable you to go as far as you want in terms of how long you want your song to be. So since if you want all this to become one pattern, all you have to do is right click in its channel and go where it's written to merge pattern clips. Though if you want to go back to your previous pattern, you'll still find it here, as you can see. So it has automatically just created another pattern, which is pattern 2, as you can see right now. So in this case, if you want to view your pattern 2, you can come to your channel rack by pressing F6 or pressing this button, or simply F6, and you have that. And as you can see, the channel rack is now longer than it was before. So for the sake of staying organized, I recommend you change or rename the pattern name by going to the this button, or simply right clicking on the pattern and then choosing rename, or F2. As you can see, it's written F2. It's the same thing. So let's call that drums. And sorry, you can also change the color by clicking the same F2, and let's pick that color for now. However, when you do this without locking this up to content, what you get is a situation where, for instance, if you wanted to edit this in a different channel, by doing that, it will be easy. But if you want to go back to editing these drums from here, you won't be able to do that. It will still bring you your pattern 1. So to avoid that, you lock your content and you see what will happen. So by locking your content or whatever pattern you create, Whenever you click in this, you only get the drums. Whenever you click in that, but the only thing that will come is the whatever is in that channel. So this is why it's important to lock your content. So now that we've talked about that, we can now create another pattern. So let's say we want to delete what's in pattern 1. In this case, so all you have to do is left click this, right click here if you want to keep selecting. So right clicking is for selecting whenever you're clicking through this area. And then remember last time we came here and it says cut is Control X. So it's the same as pressing Control X. So we'll press Control X to cut off that. And then, so I'll press F2 to rename this to piano. And then I would want to change, okay, let me even change the instrument type by coming here to this replace button and then come into the FL keys. So I'll replace it with FL keys plugin. Now that we have the FL key plugin inserted, we can now press piano roll and just edit in our progression that we want to use. So let me try to use just any progression. So I'll go with E minor. To lift this up, by the way, all you have to do is hold shift and up button if you want to take whatever is highlighted upwards. So, and then to copy whatever you've highlighted to the right side. After that, you just have to hold Control B and that will be pasted. So let's bring that down by holding shift and down arrow. So let's see what we have. Okay, so since our tempo is very fast, let's reduce that. And then what I'm going to do is make this longer. In order to do that easily, highlight everything, and then hold this button here while holding Alt, and that will make it possible for you to do that. Lifting everything you have by an octave, you have to press Control up, and taking the octave down, you have to press Control arrow down. So okay, so I think I'll reduce the volume. By the way, this is the volume button and this is your panning area button. If you want to pan things, you use this button. If you want to reduce or increase the volume, you use this button. So I'll reduce it down to about 55%. And then go back to my song area. And while it's still in the piano pattern, I can now press outside. Remember we made link this to content by using pattern 1, but in this case we'll have to do it outside. So then we bring it back into that same pattern. And then to change the name of this pattern to piano, the easiest way is to come here and you press auto name and it will rename that. So moving on, Control B, we'll paste that like that. Let's play that. So to add a channel easily, or rather another pattern, you have to come here, right click this and come here where it's written a new pattern. And that way you create a new pattern. If you want, you can change its name by renaming it. So now that we have that, we can pull that there to where you want it to be and then get your bass sample. So I'll just get any bass sound and let me go to my bass. Okay, so let's try to edit that. So we had okay. Okay, so we need to copy that. If you want to remove this highlighting thing here, all you have to do is press Control D, and then to highlight everything you have to hold Control while holding your left mouse click button, you click and then press Ctrl B. Now we have that. So if you wanted to, let's say, have it playing in a choppy sound, all you have to do is hold Alt and U, and then I think that will be okay. Okay, so let's say you want all these sounds to have their own pattern or channel without copying and or cutting and pasting into different patterns. The easiest way is to first put these in their own separate or different unique color by coming here, highlighting them and coming here. Then you come to this part where it says color selected, and then you click random. So by doing that, you have these in their own color. So now the next step is, while they're still highlighted, you go to your mixer channel. You can come to this and then come to where it's written channel routing, and then you click root selected channel starting from this track. So don't go to Ctrl L, but option which is Shift Ctrl L, and then it will put these automatically into their separate channels. If you want to take them to channel 1, what you can do is hold Ctrl Shift and then you highlight them with your mouse, and then taking them to the left, all you have to do is hold Alt and your left arrow and they'll be taken to the left. Same thing, you can do the same thing with these other sounds. And then now, once you've done that, the last step is to come here and first rename this to nothing, which is F2. So you can delete the name, and then you come here where it's written split by channel. So this will make it possible for you to make all the sounds to be in their own separate pattern. So by doing that, you have that. So the channel word splitting is this. So you have to now take all these sounds into their separate channel or track, and then lock these up to their own channel so that you don't make a mistake by putting piano in this channel, and this will make it easy for you to stay organized. So now we can go back to our song. So that's about it, and hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Hope this helps you get started into making beats in FL Studio. Otherwise, remember to subscribe to this channel, leave a like, a comment below, because that will definitely help the channel grow and help me as well. Thank you very much otherwise for subscribing to my channel, and make sure to leave a comment on any topic that you would want me to include on the next video. So bye for now.